How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Last Seed podcast. As always, it's John with my guy Ty. A lot of fun sports stuff happening lately. We've been trying to cover as much as we can. Before we start, please hit that like button on this video and also that subscribe button. We are at 74 subscribers now on YouTube, growing there. We're on the road to 1K still on TikTok, growing there as well. But without further ado, haven't really gone through the draft recap yet for the Bills. Let's start it. So, me and you were together for this tie. You know what I mean? We were watching the draft
Right.
out,
Forgot about that.
and we saw the Bills obviously trade back multiple times. What were your thoughts about that?
So originally, I think on one of our latest episodes before this, I said I thought the Bills were most likely going to trade back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just with not having a second round pick, I felt like that was probably the thing that made the most sense. But then watching the draft, excuse me, the way I saw the board fall, I was like, oh, this is setting up really good for the Bills. I'm like, okay. I was like, maybe we're not going to trade back. I'm like, there's some really good guys there, and then they trade back to 28, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, maybe they want to acquire another pick or two, but there's still that guy there. So I'm like, okay, they'll probably pick at 28, and then I'm like, I think we all had the same reaction. We're like, okay, they just keep trading back, and I was kind of like, I wasn't like mad they kept doing it, but I was kind of surprised at that point, just because I'm like, man, there were some really good guys on there.
Mm-hmm.
But then listen to Brandon Beane after talk about why they did it. He said they had an opportunity with one team to trade back into the second round, but he said he liked the trades with multiple teams to add more assets. So once it kind of played itself out and we could see what we got from it, I was definitely more of a fan of it.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There obviously could be a lot of names on the list that we passed up on, and you're gonna look back saying like, hey, you passed on player X multiple, three times literally, or whoever. You know what I mean? So
Right.
gonna tell us if it was the right move or not. Obviously the Bills thought, you know what I mean, they can get their guy later on. They weren't really enthused with the board. I'm curious, since he went two picks before us. I'm curious what would have happened if Concepcion would have lasted to 26, but I guess we'll never know.
Right. Yeah. I wonder with him, or I wonder that safety from Oregon too.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if both of them or if one of them were still on the board, what they would have did.
Yeah, that would have been very interesting to see. I mean, I have seen something that has come out from some fans saying we obviously had it's been really widely reported that we were in the market for Jalen Waddle, and we had to give up our first round pick this year to get him. People are mad that we end up trading out of it, and they're like, well, if you're going to trade out of it, why don't you get Waddle? I guess I can sort of see that in some sense, but it looks like the Bills would rather pivot. It looks like the Bills were pivoting to DJ Moore and trading a second round pick for him. So I mean, it's really what you think was better from that standpoint, from that aspect. So it kind of makes it a little bit better, but like I said, history will tell.
Right, yeah, for sure. I definitely understand the Waddle part, but also I think you got to look at the other side of look what the Bills gave up for DJ Moore, but they basically acquired that and more
Mm-hmm.
with trading back. So if you look at it, it's more like, well, when it's all said and done, did the Bills technically just sign DJ Moore for a good amount of money because that second round pick we got back?
Right.
So it's one of I feel like there's so many different ways you can actually look at it. But like you said, it's gonna be one of those things where time will tell
Yeah.
when it's a few years down the road.
My opinion is this trading back nonsense is going to be forgotten if he hit on these and the picks that he did have. No one's going to care.
Oh yeah.
So that's the way I view it. If the picks hit, great moves by Bean. If they don't hit, they're going to say like, well, you passed up on him multiple times. So
Hmm.
you really don't know the day of the draft. I mean, like, heck, I liked Rodriguez a lot, as you know. He could be an ultimate bust. Who knows?
Yeah.
I hope he's a bust out
Right.
of Miami, but anyways, let's start off with the guys the Bills did pick. Let's start off with T.J. Parker, Clemson defensive end. So obviously a position of need for the Bills. Floor is yours, Ty. What do you got here?
So before I wasn't a real knowledgeable person about TJ Parker. Um, from what I hear is he's gonna be like Russo and Chubb and have his his hand or have him on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So when I heard that, I'm kind of thinking, well, if you got Russo and you got Chubb, why is the first guy you're picking a guy who probably isn't going to start? Um, but then I looked at it. We know how this Bills defense is, especially with that defensive line. They rotate people all the time.
Right.
I think it's one of those things where it was just that was their guy, and he was there, and they probably had a feeling that moving back, they were confident that they could get him, or at least get him or another guy they liked. Um, I was kind of surprised with what's his name, McDonald, I think it is, from Ohio State. I thought that was the guy the Bills would be on, and he was there multiple times.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good.
but but honestly, I mean, TJ Parker, I like what I see. I went and actually looked at some like tape of his and stuff like that. Someone who can get to the passer and also help with the run. That's something the Bills need too, is someone who can actually, defend the run pretty well, and had a lot of tackles for losses, and decent amount of forced fumbles and stuff like that. So, I mean, on paper, he looks like a good guy that you'd want on your team. You know, I'm not expecting him to come out and get 10 sacks in this rookie year, but I'm hoping we see some flashes, as he's in the rotation.
Yeah. So I did. So like you, I did not really know a lot about TJ Parker when we drafted him. Some things I like, some things I don't like. I saw that 2024. I guess we're hoping that we have the 2024 version of him because his sacks jumped that year.
Yeah.
He had 5 sacks, I believe, in 23, 11 in 24, and then he went back down to 5 his past season. I did see just looking at game log. If we're just looking at pure numbers, I did see periods of times where he did disappear. A lot of games where he didn't really do much. I mean, he had 4 sacks against Pitt in 24. That's 4 of his 11 sacks in one game. He also had a 3 sack game in 2025. The rest of the season, only 2 sacks. Those things kind of worry me as to whereas maybe he really flashes one game here and there, but then you have a 5-6 game stretch, or you're saying to yourself, "Where is this guy?"
Yeah.
The quarterback. Some things I did really like though. You talked about his forced fumbles. I was looking at the tape of him forcing those fumbles. This guy punishes the quarterback when he gets back there. He is quick off the line, and he's definitely going to be a fit for this Jim Leonard defense of attacking. I think we're going to be a lot more aggressive on our defense this year. So that is definitely something I really like. Also, another point you said, he's not one dimensional, plays the run well. Had a lot more. He's not just a sack guy. So definitely something I really liked. One last thing I don't like about this pick is Bean doesn't really have the best history lately with these type of picks with defensive guys in the second and third round. We've seen guys like this, you know what I mean, really in many cases even end up off the team in a couple years or so, or not really even the Bills' plans. So I hope not what happens here. I think Parker can have a role. I'm just not really sure what the ceiling is. I think he can be a nice player that fits in this defense, like you said, in the rotation. I just don't know how far he goes. For sure. So if you were to give a grade for this pick, what would you say about Parker?
I'd probably list it at a B minus.
B minus?
Just, I mean, I'm not super low on it, but I'm not super high on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's one of those things, like you said, time will tell, and I think it's something we might have to be patient with as well. Just because it's not a guy you're asking to go out there and play almost every defensive snap.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, I think it's, and like you said, I mean, hopefully Bean hits on it. We've seen guys no offense to Boogie Basham and guys um, I'm trying to think who else. Unfortunately, guys like Dwayne Carter. I mean, Basham's off the team. Carter, you can't predict an injury.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not like he was doing anything beforehand,
Yeah, so it's like, it's like we get a bunch of these guys in, and it's like we want to see how how it's going to work out. You got to hit eventually, I would think.
I would hope so, but yeah, I mean, like, and also too, like, I was someone that did like McDonald as well, and that was someone I thought we were going to probably get. Um, but
I want to see now that not to cut you off. I want to see if Parker was on my list because I had different scenarios for those who don't know. I mean, because we were together for the draft, but
Ty
I
was
did.
in your bag this year.
What'd you say?
You're in your bag for the draft this year. You had
Oh,
like,
I was. I had 5 scenarios if the Bills stayed at 26 and picked. I had 5 or 6 scenarios if the Bills traded back. Um,
let's listen to the trade back one since that's what happened.
okay, I did not have McDonald on getting drafted to the Bills. I had his teammate Peter Woods. I also had Kane McDonald. Um, let's see, who did we trade back with? Houston. We traded back with New England, and did we trade back with KC?
Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee.
Was it Tennessee?
Um,
Yes, it was Tennessee. Yeah, because they hopped back up in the first round. Yeah, that was
so
Tennessee.
it's Houston, Tennessee, and New England, huh?
Yeah.
I had one if they traded back with Arizona, which I think that was like the most common one everybody had was
Mm-hmm.
for Arizona to jump back up. Um, I'm trying to see what other ones I had. So the Arizona one would have been Buffalo would have traded to the 34th pick, got a fourth and a fifth, and the Bills give up their 26th overall pick and a fifth. That one I wouldn't mind. There was one with the Chargers as well. The Chargers would get the 26th overall pick. Buffalo would get 255 or the 55th overall pick, the 86th overall pick, and then 2027 third. I also did a trade up. I forget what it was. I didn't put it all down there. I wish I would have put like the compensation and stuff like that.
Who would you
I don't know if
trade up for?
I had him trading up for what's his name? Oh, where is it on here? What's his last name? Bruin or something? The edge rusher from Miami who like fell. Like I think he was gone by like I had him trading up with the Giants to the 10th overall pick. I think he was still there.
Number 2. Oh, dang.
Yeah, I forget what the compensate. Oh, it's right here. I got it. So the Buffalo would have got the 10th overall pick and a 2027 fifth. The Giants would have got the Bills' 26th overall pick, a fifth rounder, and then a 2027 second and fourth. So it wasn't as bad. It actually surprised me because it was all done on like a mock simulator thing, and this actually came up as like a fair trade for both sides. So I was kind of surprised that it wouldn't have to like be more.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, basically, if you cancel out the 2/5, you're basically getting the 10th overall pick, and the Giants get your 26th overall pick, and then they get a second and fourth next year. I mean, like that to me, if there's someone you really want and you could like move up that much,
Yeah,
like
you go do it.
But yeah, it's just something like I found like a couple days before the draft. I was having fun with it, so
Yeah, you were telling me about it as well. Yeah, had the notebook we had a little get together, and you had the notebook, you had all scenarios. So yeah, you were in your bag this year.
yeah, that was. I mean, I didn't hit. Unfortunately, I didn't hit on who the Bills would pick, but
Hey, but the good thing is, like, you probably knew a lot of the players, like, you know what I mean, more than you did like in previous years, being like, hey, who can we get, or like knowing like possible scenarios that could happen. So that's awesome.
yeah.
All right, so next guy. I can't pronounce his name. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, sir. But Davison IGB. We're gonna call him IGB.
IGB.
Cornerback out of Ohio State. Big physical corner, Ty.
Yeah, 6'2", like 190 pounds. This was an interesting one to me. We have Benford, who we know is our cornerback one.
Mm-hmm.
We have Maxwell Harrison. Unfortunately, went through some injuries. But he was drafted to be that other corner alongside Benford. Showed some good stuff when he came back from his injury, I thought.
Right.
I think his first pick was off Mahomes, if I'm if
Yeah,
I'm not wrong. I think he picked off Tua or something like that as well. Like I think he had was it back to back games? I think he had an interception.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, them moving up, I was kind of surprised because they gave up a 6 rounder too to move up. Um, and then I heard about the penalties with this guy. He's a physical guy, but was flagged a ton a couple of years ago. And I'm like, oh boy. But then I felt like that was kind of brought up too much. And the reason I say that is because he was only called for 5 penalties last year.
yeah. He definitely cut that down. So it's good to see that he's had that improvement.
Right. So, I think that's something that they say you got to watch out for the penalties, but I think, just in that one year, he went from being flagged 16 times to being flagged 5 times last year. So, I mean, that's a big improvement. Bean even said this isn't a guy they drafted to be a starter. Um, but then the more I kind of sat down and thought about this pick, I'm like, it made sense because maybe it didn't make sense to somebody who wanted a corner but didn't want to trade up for one. But as far as the depth, I mean, look at the depth we've had at corner. No offense to those guys, it was weak. You
Right.
know, we had Dane Jackson playing against what was it, a playoff game against oh crap, what's the game we lost?
This year, Denver.
Yeah, the Denver game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dane Jackson comes in. I'm watching the game. I'm like, they're gonna target him, and next thing you know, Bo Nix throws the ball over Dane Jackson's head, and they score a touchdown. We've seen it in past years where Kaiir Elam was called in to play against KC.
Yeah.
I think this is something they were like, hey, we've seen this story too many times. We don't want to have to worry about that.
Yeah, I agree with a lot, especially with a lot of what you just said just now in terms of corner depth. Yeah, I guess maybe some people were surprised that we got a corner, but if you got to think to yourself, a lot of teams want to get a ton of receivers now. You know what I mean? Receivers are, market value for them is higher than ever. Receivers are hot. Corners should be hot too because you got to get guys to, cover them. So it really more so than ever, your third and fourth corner is really important. You know what I mean? Because a lot of
Right.
they're going to have three, maybe four good receivers. But yeah, I mean, he like you said, penalties were a little bit of an issue, but he cut him down. I
Hmm.
like that he plays the run really well. You always like a corner that's able to play the run. He's not afraid to get in there, be physical, and we need all the help on the run defense that we can get.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but yeah, I think you really touched upon really everything I wanted to go over in terms of the penalties. One thing
You're welcome.
I want to touch on too is the with us switching to a more of aggressive defense. I think there's a guy that could maybe play a lot of press man coverage. So I think this really is I don't. I think this is really a pick that it's really showing the transformation from McDermott's defense to Jim Leonard's defense because I don't
Yeah.
the guy that would have been drafted if McDermott was still a coach. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm glad that we took defense very seriously because, like I have been pounding the table on numerous times, switching to a 3-4 from a 4-3 is not going to be easy, especially since we played a 4-3 for the past decade
Yeah.
almost. So it's not a transformation that's going to happen overnight. I think a lot of Bills fans are going to be very impatient to see growing pains that are going to be happening defense. Heck, this is a transformation that might work. Fully come to fruition. You got to get the right players in the system, and but yeah, it's not a shot at Jim Leonard. You know what I mean, coming in, and I
Right.
think Jim Leonard's been good about it. I heard him talk. He said he understands the transformation process, not all in one night. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be like a Rex Ryan scenario, to whereas when Jim Schwartz had the 4-3 defense, it was great, and all of a sudden Rex just wanted to change everything like that, and obviously we saw the results of that. Just parts didn't Kyle Williams is not a nose tackle in a 3-4, things like that. Um,
Yeah.
but let's talk about the other draft pick, the darling of the Buffalo Bills draft. I feel like everyone likes this pick, Skylar Bell.
Yeah, I think you nailed it right there. I think like you said, everyone loves this pick. this is a guy I think Bills fans would have been fine taking in the second round or third round, and
Just
they get him in the
too.
they get him in the fourth round. I can say, we've seen kind of this, type of situation before. What I mean, like a mid-round guy, gets drafted by the Bills, aka Khalil Shakir, who was a fifth-round pick out of Boise State. So I mean, Bell's in the fourth round. I mean, this guy reminds me so much of somebody. People might not like this comparison, but I'm going to say he reminds me so much of Stephon Diggs.
Without the locker room issue.
He reminds me so much of Stephon Diggs' abilities on the field, is what I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, no locker room issues or anything like that. This is a guy who I think he's already like 23 or 24. So, I'm expecting him to be like very mature coming in to training camp and stuff like that, getting ready for the season. But if you look at this guy, I mean, he's and the reason why I say that he reminds me of like a Diggs type player is because if you look at his size, but it's not like he's just an inside receiver. It's not like he's just an outside receiver. I mean, we've seen, or if you watch some player, watch, highlights or any tape or film, you put him in the slot and this guy's cooking guys like a typical slot receiver, but then you put him outside and he's catching 50-50 balls. This is a guy who, here's something for you. Only person in FBS, who was the only FBS player to finish top 5 in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns last season. And he's got some, familiarness with Jim Leonhard because he played in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Before he transferred to UConn. And if there's a red flag, I guess if you want to say that for a lack of better terms, you could say the competition he played at UConn. But when you've seen him play against teams like who was it, Duke, and there was another team, but basically like he was still showing like he can ball out against good competition. And this is somebody who honestly, he might be the Bills' 4th or 5th wide receiver option this year. Like you have, DJ Moore, who, and the thing is, I don't think there's like a wide receiver 2 and stuff on this team. I think it's basically you have like your top 5 or 6 receivers and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills, I can't see them keeping more than 6 receivers. They're going to keep Moore, Shakir, Palmer, Coleman, Bell. There's your 5, and then maybe a guy like McCole Hardman or like Trent Sherfield to play special teams if Shavers isn't ready to go.
Right.
To start the season. But yeah, this is a guy I feel like, is really gonna be like almost like that fit to where it's like he can be that guy that can win in man coverage. I feel like all of last year, how many times were we like, man, Allen's back there scrambling around and there's just nobody open.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone's got to be open. Then you look at like a replay and you're like, oh no, there literally was nobody open.
Yep.
Like, and maybe this is a guy who's just like a threat too. You could put him on the field and people realize like, okay, we have to watch out for this guy. Oh, they got DJ Moore and Josh Palmer lined up on the field too. We got to watch out for these guys. You can't double everybody.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like I think this is a guy that could definitely help us out. Maybe not get 50 catches and 500 yards, but maybe it's a guy that it's like, hey, it's 3rd and 6. We really need a first down. This is the guy you can rely on. I'm excited for him. I know I'm kind of yapping about him, but this is a guy I feel like is gonna. If you're a Bills fan, put Bills Stephon Diggs and Bills Cole Beasley together. I feel like you're gonna get a little bit of both, and I'm excited to watch this dude.
So, am I gonna join the hype train? A lot of people love him. Some like him. Here, I'll be right back.
Oh goodness, what's happening right now? You're gonna pull up a Skylar Bell jersey or what? Mind you, I have no idea what's going on right now. I was not made informed of this. I have no idea what's going on.
People are drinking the Kool-Aid. This ain't Kool-Aid, but people are drinking the Kool-Aid of the hype, right? I'm drinking it too.
Oh, Johnny's on full board.
I'm ready. Okay. I love this pick, all right?
Wait, hold on. Johnny might be the driver of the hype train.
I'm the driver of the hype train. I saw the hype train. Steve Smith started a hype train, but you know what? I'm driving passenger side with him because what this kid is exactly what you need in your wide receiver room. And the best part about it is because I really want to say this first because I don't want to forget about it. I love that DJ Moore is in the room with him because there's not going to be a lot of pressure on this kid and all that type of stuff coming in. He's going to have a mentor. DJ Moore's been in the league a lot of years. Got not a lot of pressure on him to perform from the get-go.
Good point.
Let me reiterate, this is a 4th round pick, so maybe I got to calm down a little bit. Maybe other Bills
No, keep it going.
Calm down just a little bit in case things don't go to fruition right away.
I don't think you got to calm down. There's a lot. Hey, man, there's a lot of good guys and receivers that were mid to late round draft picks. So,
but what I like a lot about him is that I was seeing like the story about him, all that type of stuff. Seeing the tape, saw a lot of volume in college, and every week for his team it was how do we get Skyward Bell the ball, and that's a very good sign. He saw a lot of balls, and I want to add this in too. His quarterback play was horrendous. I'm sorry if that quarterback's mother is watching this podcast, but man, he threw a lot of bad passes, and Skyward Bell made this dude look way better than he actually was. And also, I talked about Steve Smith, driving the hype train. If you want any more, you want to be any more happy about this pick, Steve Smith does a great breakdown of receivers every year. He has one on Skyward Bell. You're going to be even more excited about this pick if you watch this stuff. Steve Smith gave him a lot of praise. He said, this quote was really stood out to me. He said, quote unquote, he does the difficult things well. He does difficult things well. He has that yak. He's a yak guy.
He's a big yak guy.
Big yak guy, can catch the ball. He can make something happen. There was a lot of plays where normal receivers would get tackled right away, but this guy can turn upfield. He can, square up with the defender right away, and he can, get 10 to 15 yards that weren't there. So, I love this pick. You said that. Where do you think he's going to rank in the depth chart?
I wouldn't be surprised if he's like that 4th or 5th receiver. Now, the reason why I say that is just because of the guys that are in front of him, but I don't think the Bills are going to use like receiver 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, and have the typical 1 receiver, typical 2 and stuff like that. Like, these are guys that are going to all be on the field.
So my idea is thinking this. You brought up concerns about this receiver room before. I think this receiver room is one of the most wide open ones in the league. It would not shock me. I think this kid's really good. It would not shock me if he has the 2nd most catches on the Bills this season. 2nd or 3rd most catches on the Bills this season. I think this is a wide open room. Maybe
you might have to write that down.
Maybe 3rd, you know what I mean? We'll see what happens, but I mean, I think, and also too, why I think he's going to get more of a chance. I love Sean McDermott, but I'm going to throw some shade on him here. I think Joe Brady's going to be more of a coach to whereas, like, if this kid's showing that he's, even though he's a rookie, if this kid's showing right away that he's better than a lot of the guys in the roster that maybe had higher draft capital, maybe have been here longer, whatever the case may be, make more money, he's going to play this guy. You know what I mean? That's one thing I am happy about Joe Brady coming in is like he's more, and especially it being an offensive guy too, he's going to be real excited about that. He is not going to, if he thinks, I'm not saying he is going to be, but if he thinks Skyward Bell is the best receiver on the team, he's going to be out there. Even if he thinks he's the 2nd or 3rd best receiver on the team, he's going to be out there. He's not going to hold him back. He's not going to play.
Right.
Yeah, there's going to be a learning curve right away. Like he's learning an NFL offense for the first time, playing against NFL level players. Again, he's a 4th round pick. And also, too, the only, adjustment he's going to maybe have to, at least at first, not being right out the gate and stuff like that, is, like I said, he had a lot of volume in college. How's he going to respond in the early stage of his career that maybe he's only getting 2-3 targets a game? Can he still make an impact with that? Or maybe there's only 2 or 3 plays called for him, et cetera. So I think that could be an adjustment period for him. But I mean, it's not even really a bad thing. It's just normal things that I feel a rookie going to go through, that type of stuff. But love this pick. Also, too, I picked him in my dynasty draft. I ended up getting him. I think we were talking about that. Real excited about that. I got a Bill on my dynasty team. But yeah. So all in all, I give that pick an A plus plus. But overall, how do you think the Bills did in this draft? If you were to give a grade on it right now.
If I had to get a grade on it, I would I would say a B, and the reason why I say that is because just I mean the biggest thing, like you said, is time will tell. They added a couple, guys at offensive lineman. I know we didn't get through everyone. They added a punter and stuff like that. It's not bad that you add a punter, that you draft a punter, especially when this guy could very well be our starter. Um, and win the job. The couple guys at offensive linemen, there's question marks like, are the Bills going to try to re-sign O'Cyrus Torrance after this year? They lost Ryan Vandenmark. That was a really good backup. So maybe they were just trying to plan ahead or, kind of do what they did with the cornerback, but do it with the offensive lineman and get some depth in there. Not the sexiest thing in the world because I think a lot of guys, you know, or a lot of people like when their team gets guys that can just come in right away and play.
Right.
They want to see them on the field, but and something like that. I mean, you look at it and it's like, okay, if it's that late in the draft, well, was there somebody else that was on the board that you liked who maybe could contribute more than a guy who's probably going to be a backup? Maybe, but you never know. I mean, we've seen the Bills, stay pretty healthy at offensive line. Anything can happen. So I think it's something that, like you said, we'll see. Overall, I think it was a good draft on their point. We'll see if they trade him back, if it bites us in the butt or if it looks like a great idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with a B minus. Obviously, I love Skylar Bell. He definitely bumped up his grade a lot. I just wasn't really too enthused about Parker. That's the only. That's like and that was like your top guy.
Right.
I hope he proves me wrong. I hope the dude goes out there and gets 10 sacks a season for us, and he's an all-time great. I'm just not really feeling it right now. If he would have done better with that pick, I'd probably bump this up to a B plus, maybe an A minus. But that being your top pick, and I'm not really too enthused. Me personally, not being too enthused about it, I can't give it a higher grade than that.
No, I see what you're saying.
But let's see. So we'll end the show. We'll talk about a couple more other things. So let's touch on the Sabres a bit. Sabres winning.
The warpath, man, the freaking wagon.
The warpath continues.
You should have warned me. I could have put something Sabres on. I'm not prepared.
You're good. Man, I figured I just wanted to touch upon it because it's an exciting thing happening in Buffalo right now. We start tomorrow, right, against Montreal.
Yep, game 1 tomorrow.
That I'm just gonna prepare everyone. Well, I'll try to. This is gonna be a series.
This is gonna be a 6 or 7 game series.
It's going 7. Game 7 is gonna be in Buffalo, and it's gonna be probably one of the best games of the year. Like this.
I'm selling my car if I have to.
This will be. Yeah, I'll try to go down. Let's go downtown, man. Go downtown, party.
All right, at the very least, we'll go downtown and party.
Okay, yeah, for sure. But I think me, like the rest of Buffalo, really excited to see that. I got the Sabres winning that series in 7. I think it's going to be us and Carolina again, like it was in 06, 20 years later.
Let's bring it on.
But I appreciate everyone that listened to this episode. Obviously we came out with a new logo. I really think that it's getting to like a new era for this podcast. I feel like we're going to be starting to post like more consistently, spending more time with it, all that type of stuff, trying to make the content even better. So I appreciate all the loyal followers and the support that we have gotten so far. I think we have a great base following, hopefully to grow.
Absolutely.
More. But until next time, this is the Last Seed Podcast. Peace out.